Today we're going to discuss financial management once again. So we have a continuing lesson for this one. Today we're going to talk about ratio analysis. Topics to be covered for today are the following. Ratio analysis na. Pag sinabi natin ng ratio, kasi yung income statement and balance sheet, you have different items or different accounts, no? And you want to know the relationship of those accounts. Example, relationship of cash receivable, relationship of payables to cash, relationship of liability to equity. At tinawag siyang ratio analysis. And we're going to also talk about liquidity and efficiency. So once again, pag sinabi natin liquidity, ito yung capability of the company to pay short-term obligation, mga utang ng company sa loob ng isang taon. Kung kaya mo siyang bayaran because you have enough cash, it means you are liquid. And also what we call the working capital. Working capital is you get your total asset by your total liability. Pag mas marami kang asset kaysa liability, so you have a good working capital. And we should also know the financial ratio, liquidity ratio. So we want to know kung gaano ka-liquid ang isang company and gaano ka-profitable ang isang company. Pag sa profitability, ito yung your capability to earn profit for every peso na benta. Lastly, you want to get the solvency ratio. So pag sinabing solvency, ito naman yung your capability to pay yung mga obligation na long term beyond 1 year. Example, meron kang mga utang sa labas na 5 years, no? So what is your capacity to pay those maturing obligations? Yan ang ibig sabihin ng solvency ratio. Explain what ratio analysis is. We should know how to use ratio analysis sa inyong mga business, especially yung mga newbies in business like IT professional like you, merchandising, businessmen, manufacturing, and trading based and service-based business. And we should know, at this point in time, we should know ano ba yung mga financial statement na ginagamit natin. So we have been talking about the different FS, like the income statement, balance sheet. Ito yung mga ginagamit nating report, no? Mga negosyante. And we should know the contents of this statement. So for the past lessons, we have discussed ano yung mga laman ng bawat statement na to, like ano yung laman ng income statement, the revenue, the expenses, and the profit. Ano yung laman ng balance sheet, all the assets, liabilities, and capital or equity. So this info will be used by corporate managers and investors. Mga small businessmen like you, pwedeng magamit to. And we should also know how to what are the relationship of those ratios sa ating mga business. Example, may relation ng mga items sa loob ng balance sheet and may relation din yung mga items sa loob ng mga income statement. So, we should know how to use the ratios sa ating mga business if we're going to decide. So, we have done for the past weeks yung trend analysis as a part or example of ratio. So ito yung mga objectives natin at the end of this topic. Ito yung you should be able to do the following.
Ito namang cash conversion cycle, the sum of the days sales account collected. So ito yung ilang araw binibilang mo bago may convert into cash yung mga binibenta mong mga merchandise. Okay, so the formula is the sum is sales uncollected and the days sales in inventory. So dito, kailangan mo yung number of days mo na bago ka makakolekta ng mga receivable mo. Example, no? 30 days ka bago makakolekta ng mga receivable. Okay, so itabi mo yung 30 days na yan. Last, idagdag mo dyan yung days sales in inventory. Sabihin, ilang araw binibila mo bago ma-convert into cash ang iyong mga inventory. O sabihin natin 20 days. So yung 30 days kanina, kasi yung 20 days ngayon, pag-add mo yan, no? That is 50 days. Okay? So itabi mo na natin yung total na 50 days. Now, from the 50 days, ibawas natin ang days purchase and accounts payable. Ibig sabihin, ilang araw mo bago bayaran ang iyong mga payable. Example, sabihin natin 25 days. Okay? So therefore, yung 50,000 kanina, ibawas mo dyan yung 25 days na accounts payable. Ang cash conversion cycle mo is 25 days. Alright? So, ano ibig sabihin ng 25 days? It represents the number of days a firm's cash remains tied up within the operation of the business. Ibig sabihin, 25 days mo bago ma-convert into cash. No? Or 20 days ang bibilangin mo bago ka makakolekta. Kasi yung cash na yon ay naka-tie up pa sa operation kaya hindi mo pa nakakolekta. After 20 days pa. Then, ibig sabihin na ating cash conversion cycle. And how do you analyze? O siyempre, the lower the cash conversion cycle, the more healthy a company generally is. Yan. That is our analysis. Mas konting araw, 25 days. Ibig sabihin, meron 25 days ka mag-convert into cash. So pag yun pa na naging 50 days, ibig sabihin, 50 days pa bago mag-convert into cash. Pag yun na naging 60 days pa bago mag-convert into cash. So what is our analysis? Mas mababa, mas konti yung days. The lower the cash conversion cycle, mas maganda or mas healthy para sa company. Ibig sabihin, 25 days ang bibilangin mo bago mag-convert into cash yung mga receivable mo. So, mas konti, kung pwedeng pababaan yan into 15 days or 10 days, mas healthy para sa company. The total asset turnover. Okay, so ano ibig sabihin itong ratio na yan? This ratio daw reflects a company's ability to use its assets to generate sales. It is an important indication of operating efficiency. So, ilang beses mong nagagamit yung mga asset mo para makabenta. So, take note guys, no? Pag sinabing asset, ito yung mga total ari-arian ng company sa business. Yung cash, yung receivable, yung inventory, yung equipment, yung machinery, ito mga asset na to, o resources of the business. How many times mo yung nagagamit to generate sales or to generate benta? Kung madalas mo nagagamit yan, so you can say that your operation is efficient. Pero dapat nating malaman, ilang beso na. That is why we have this ratio, the total asset turnover. Okay, so formula, the total asset turnover is equal to, dapat mo nating makakuha ang ating net sales. Na? Pag sinabing net sales, ito yung benta natin, net. Pag sinabing net, nabawas na din yung discount, nabawas na din yung mga returns. Kasi iba yung gross sales sa net sales. Kasi pag sinabi natin gross sales, example, gross sales is 100,000. Kaya lang, out of the sales, meron kang discount na binigay. O merong nagbalik ng merchandise, returned merchandise. No? So, ibabawas natin yun sa benta natin. Example, 5,000 yung ibabawas. No? So, 100,000 gross sales less 5,000 for discount. Ang difference is 95,000. So, the 95,000 is what we call the net sales. Okay? Then divide that by the average total asset. So, as usual, pag sinabi natin average, beginning plus ending divided by 2. And you will get the average. So therefore, pag sinabi natin average asset, beginning total asset plus ending total asset divided by 2, and you will get the average total asset. Pag sinabing beginning, yan yung asset mo ng January. Pag sinabing ending, yan yung asset mo ng December 31. Yan mo yung dalawa, divide by 2. And you will get your average total asset. Alright? Lagyan natin ng sample. Okay? So ito, sample sa kamari na. Net sales natin is 50,000. Bulayan natin ang font. Yun. Okay? Kunwari, beginning asset, 5,000. 5,000. Plus, ending asset, 7,000. Okay? Divided by 2. So that is 5,000 plus 7,000, that is 12,000. Tama? Then divided by 2 gives you 6,000. So ang denominator natin doon sa taas is 6,000 pesos. Right? Tama? Okay, tama. Then, therefore, 50,000 divided by 6,000. Okay, so sabay na mag-compute. 50 divided by 6. So that is 8.33. That's right? Ang sagot is 8.33. 8.33. So since that is a turnover, so ang sagot natin is 8.33 times. Since wala namang 0.33 na pesos, so i-round off natin. So 8.33 magiging 8 lang. Round it off. Okay, so therefore, that is only 8 times. Okay, so ano yung sabihin ng 8 times? Sa loob ng isang taon, yung mga asset mo ay ginamit mo ng 8 times to generate sales. For example, yung equipment, yung pera, yung account receivable, ay ginamit mo ng 8 pesos sa loob ng isang taon to generate sales or revenue. Yan ay ibig sabihin ng total asset turnover. This ratio reflects a company's ability to use its assets to generate sales. Ibig sabihin, is that efficient? Yes, kasi madalas mo nagagamit yung asset mo, di ba? 8 times sa loob ng isang taon. Pag yan pala ay 1 time or 2 times lang, hindi masyadong efficient. Kasi, sabihin, 2 times mo lang ginamit mga asset mo sa isang taon. That's efficient, di ba? So, buti na lang, 8 times ang atin lang. Okay, so that is what we mean by the total asset turnover. Okay, so that is about lesson number 6. Okay, so exit natin to. We will be leaving behind lesson 6.
Let's start with solvency. Solvency is your capability to pay maturing obligations that are beyond 1 year. Ito yung mga matagal ng utang na kaya nating bayaran, mga long-term liability ng inyong mga business. Example, you have an IT company at meron siyang utang na masyadong malaki, pero yung utang ay babayaran siya within 2 years, 3 or 5. So this is the capability of your company to pay these maturing obligations 5 years from now, 3 years from now. Kung kaya mo siyang bayaran, if you have enough cash to pay these long-term obligations, itong tinatawag natin solvency ng inyong company. Ang liquidity kasi, you're liquid if you can pay those short-term liability or obligation na mga utang mo within 1 year, kaya mo siyang bayaran. Yan tinatawag nating liquidity. Pero yung mga utang niya na beyond 1 year, masyadong matagal na. Matagal siyang bayaran, long term. And you can pay those liability. So that is solvency. Okay, so in knowing whether your company or business is solvent, paano malalaman kung solvent yung business? So we have tools na gagamitin para malaman natin kung solvent ang yung business or hindi. So important to sa mga negosyante para malaman kung kaya ba nating bayaran yung mga long-term liability natin. So if you want to know whether your company is solvent, itong apat na to, debt ratio, equity ratio, pledged assets to secured liabilities, and times interest are earned. Ito yung mga tools natin to know whether you are solvent or not. So pag sinabing debt ratio, debt is utang. Alin bang mas malaki sa inyong company? Yung utang ba or yung investment ng mga owners? Yung ating debt ratio. Siyempre, pag mas marami kang utang kesa equity, so hindi ka masyadong solvent. Because you don't have capability to pay your long-term obligation pag mas marami kang utang kesa equity na pambayad. Whereas equity ratio, if you want to know kung alin ang mas malaki, yung equity ba or yung utang ng company. So equity is the share of the owner doon sa mga asset ng company. That is what we call the equity. So mas maganda sana kung mas marami kang share kesa debt. Mas solvent ka nun. The third one is pledged assets to secured liabilities. If you have, do you have enough asset na naka-pledge or collateral ng iyong liability? And times interest earned, if you are going to earn interest from the bank, sa loob ng isang taon, marami ka bang interest? So if you are earning more interest, how many times isang taon? So you have enough capability to pay. So itong apat na yan, ang ginagamit natin to know the solvency of your company. So example, this one is the debt equity ratio. So ulitin ko, pag sinabing debt, ito yung total utang or liability ng company to outside party, aside from the owner, no? Example, utang sa suppliers, sa government, and other third party. So pag sinabing equity, total equity, ito yung total share ng owner doon sa total asset ng company. Okay, sa sample dito, itong naka-box na. So, ang total liability or total utang ng company is 8 million. You can see here, right? And the total equity of the company is 4 million. Total is 12 million. So, ibig sabihin, yung utang ng company is mas malaki kaysa equity. Alright? So, if you're going to get the ratio, that's 8,000 divided by 12, that is 8 million divided by 12 million. That is 66.7%. So, ibig sabihin, 2/3 ay napunta sa total liability. So, yung natira, that is your total equity. That is 4 million divided by 12 million. So, that is 33.3%. Okay? So, yung 66.7%, that is your debt ratio. While the 33.3%, that is your equity ratio. How did you get the 66.7%? So we just simply divide 8 million by 12 million and you get 66.7. And 4 million divided by 12 million, you will get 33.3%. So, sa total asset kasi ng company, no? Example, meron kang company, IT company, no? At ang total asset mo is 12 million. So, pag sinabing total asset, ito yung cash, receivable, property, investment, inventory. So, lahat ng ari-arian or property ng company, yun tinatawag nating total asset, no? So, sa ating sample, the total asset of the company is 12 million. Okay, now yung 12 million, sino may-ari? Sa property ng isang company, sino may-ari? So, sa 12 million, 4 million doon ay pag-ari ng owners ng company. So, kaya tinawag natin isang equity. So, when you say equity, that is the share of the owner in the asset of the company, 4 million. Right? So, parang no? Pag meron kang 12 pesos na hawak-hawak ngayon, 4 pesos lang doon ang sayo. Yung natitira ay pambayad mo sa utang. So, giving that on a large perspective, 12 million ang property ng company. So, 4 million doon ang pag-aari ng mga owner or equity. Yung natira, yun ay pambayad sa utang. So, 8 million. Okay? So, hindi masyadong maganda kasi sa 12 million, 4 million ang pag-aari mo doon. No? The rest are going to the third party liability. Yan ibig sabihin ng debt ratio and equity ratio. So you want to know kung ilang percent ang pag-aari mo, ilang percent din yung pag-aari ng mga creditors mo. That's the essence of the debt and equity ratio. Okay, so debt ratio, yung 66.7%, so it shows what is the percentage that is owed to the third party. Sa total asset mo, ilan doon ang pag-aari ng third party creditors. No? Yan ang ating debt ratio. So, the equity ratio sa total asset ng company, ilang percent doon ang pag-aari ng owners ng company. That is your equity ratio. No? So, ginagamit natin to para malaman kung ilan ang papunta sa creditor, ilan ang papunta sa atin as owner of an IT company. Okay, so iba naman tong debt to equity ratio. Yung kanina kasi debt ratio and equity ratio, ito naman ay debt to equity ratio. So if you want to know this ratio measures what portion of your total asset are contributed by creditors. Sa total asset mo, ilan doon ang nanggaling sa creditor? Kasi yung property mo ay sometimes you borrowed from the bank, sometimes you borrowed from suppliers. So hindi lahat doon ay galing sa'yo. Pero galing doon sa creditors. So you want to know the debt to equity ratio. Okay, so if you're going to compute this one, mas malaking debt to equity ratio, it shows less opportunity to expand through use of debt financing. Pag na-compute mo, tapos masyadong malaki ang debt compared sa equity, so hindi ka na pwedeng mag-expand using debt financing kasi masyadong maraming utang. No? Pag mas malaki utang mo, so parang ang iyong chance to borrow from the creditors ay kunti na lang. O siyempre, hindi ka na masyadong papautangin nila, no? Kung mas marami kang utang sa kanila. Pero pag let's say, ang debt to equity ratio mo ay mababa, ibig sabihin nun, kunti pa lang na utang mo. So may chance ka pang mangutang pag kunti pa lang yung utang mo. Siyempre, di ba, magpapautang ka ba kung yung tao ay malaki na utang sa'yo? Hindi, di ba? Pero pag nakita mo yung tao ay kunti pa lang ang utang sa'yo, so mas papautangin mo pa siya. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng less opportunity to expand to use of debt financing. So, mas maliit dapat ang debt to equity ratio. Kasi pag malaki yan, hindi ka na pwedeng mangutang. So, we maintain less yung debt to equity ratio. So, to compute, you just get your total liability, total utang, you divide it by your total equity. So yung ganyan example natin, we're going to go back. To get your debt equity ratio, simply divide 8 million divided by 4 million. Okay, to get your debt to equity ratio. So let us compute this one, right? So 8 million divided by 4 million. So ang sagot ay 2. The ratio is 2. Okay, so ang sagot dito, total liability is 8 million divided by 4 million. The answer is 2. Anong ibig sabihin nun? 2:1. Ibig sabihin, sa total utang mo na 2 pesos, ang equity mo doon or share mo doon ay only 1 peso. So, just imagine that, diba? Ang yung puhunan ay 1. Ang utang mo ay 2. Yan sinasabi natin, a larger debt to equity ratio, it means less opportunity to borrow. So, dapat mas mababa. Example, gawin natin 1:1. So, okay na, diba? 1:1. Ibig sabihin, so 1 peso na utang mo, 1 peso din ang iyong share sa company. Mas wala pa, mas mababa, di ba? Example, 0.5 to 1. Ibig sabihin, 50 cents ang utang mo, ang share mo sa company ay 1 peso. So, mas mababa dapat. Okay? So, that is solvency. Solvency ratio. Ito naman yung profitability. Yung solvency kanina, you want to know if you have the capability to pay maturing obligation, maturing long-term obligation. Itong profitability naman, if you want to know gaano ka profitable o gaano kalakas kumita ang iyong company. Gusto mo rin malaman yan, di ba? If you are a businessman, kusyante, no? Gusto mo malaman gaano ba ka profitable or gaano kalakas kumita ang aking company. Yan ang tinetest natin ng profitability. Right? And we have 3 tools here to be used to measure your profitability, profit margin, return on total assets, and return on ordinary shareholders' equity. Itong tatlong to, ito gagamitin natin to measure your profitability. Started profit margin. So profit is the tubo of the company. Ito yung income, no? Kinita mo, that is profit. And if you want to know the tubo compared sa benta, that is profit margin. So this ratio, profit margin describes a company's ability to earn. So this ratio, profit margin describes a company's ability to earn net income from each sales of dollars. So bawat, for example, sa bawat piso mo na benta, no? Ilan doon ang tubo? Ilan doon net income or net profit? Sa bawat 10 pesos na benta, ilan doon? Diba, you're interested to know, no? Pag nakabenta ka ng 100 pesos, magkano kaya dito ang tubo ko? That is the essence of profit margin. Alright, so to get the profit margin, you simply divide net income divided by the net sales of the company. So net income is the tubo, net sales the benta. Right? So example, ang tubo mo is 1 peso. Ang benta mo ay 10. So divide mo lang dalawang yon, no? 1 divided by 10. And that is your profit margin. So 1 divided by 10, ilang percent yan? That is 10%, no? So 1 divided by 10, that is 10%. So your profit margin is 10%. Okay? So ibig sabihin nun, sa bawat benta mo, 10% doon ang profit. So 100 pesos na benta, 10% yan ay profit. So 1,000 pesos na benta, 10% noon ang profit. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng profit margin ratio. Your ability to earn net income. O pag yan ay naging 20%, so maganda. Pag yan ay naging 30%, maganda. In contrast, if it is only 1%, mababa. Imagine sa 100 na benta, 1 peso lang net income mo, so mababa. So maganda yung 15% ang profit margin, 20% ang profit margin. Okay, so just a reminder, we are talking about the profitability, how to measure profitability of your company. Yung una kanina, the profit margin. Itong pangalawa, the return on total asset. So, the RTA or return on total asset also measure profitability. So, what is the importance of this one? The return on total asset, it measures how well assets have been employed by the company's management. Yung property mo, mga ari-arian or mga asset like cash, property, receivable, land, building, inventory, equipment, machinery, investment. Yun ang total asset mo, di ba? So, gaano kaganda ang pagkakagamit ng company sa mga asset na yon sa business or to earn profit. So, yung property mo sa business, ginagamit mo yan to earn profit. Pero, sa bawat paggamit mo ng asset, pagkano doon ang kita? That is the return on total asset. Bisa, may ginagamit kang laptop or delivery van sa company. Pag ginagamit ko mga asset na to, magkano ang nakakontribute nito sa paggamit ng mga to sa total asset, sa net income or profitability ng company. So, ibig sabihin, pag ginagamit yung asset mo, ang isang asset, it should contribute to profitability, to profit. Pero magkano? So, yan ang tinatawag nating return on total asset. Isang company, delivery van, computer, laptop, building, land. Magkano ang return doon? You simply divide your net income or tubo divided by the average total asset of the company. So, net income, alam mo naman, di ba? Yan ang tubo mo. Ang total asset mo, bilangin mo lahat ng mga property na ginagamit sa business. Example, yung value ng receivable, value ng equipment, value ng machinery, value ng building. Bilangin mo yon, ipunin mo yon, get the total, get the average total asset, at yun ang yung magiging denominator dito. So, net income divided by that average total asset, and you will get the return on total asset. The next one, the return on ordinary shareholders' equity. So, ito naman yung sa bawat share ng isang owner sa company, magkano doon ang kinikita natin or magkano yung return natin doon. Pag ginamit mo yung pera ng may-ari, magkano doon ang ating kinikita. So, that is the return on ordinary shareholders' equity. So, this measures indicates how well the company is using or employing the shareholders' equity, the earned income. Example, may 5 may-ari ng company, ng business, Ang kanilang share ay 10,000 sila doon sa business na yon. O siyempre, yung 10,000 ginagamit natin yan, gagamitin natin yun for the operation of the company. Pero later on, you want to know, yung ginagamit natin yung mga share or pair ng may-ari, magkano doon ang naka-contribute sa net income. Ito ikaw may-ari, okay, I contributed 10,000. Magkano naka-contribute na ito sa net income or tubo ng company. So that is the return on ordinary shareholders' equity. And to get this one, so you get first your net income or yung tubo, di ba? Given naman yung tubo, di ba? Alam mo naman yan net income. And you deduct from that the preference dividend. So by the way, pag sinabi nating dividend, ito yung binibigay natin sa mga lahat ng stockholders ng company taon-taon. Dividendo, no? Pag na-invest ka sa isang company, taon-taon meron kang share doon. May nakuhang share sa income ng isang company. Yan tinatawag nating dividend. So yung mga dividend para sa mga preferred stockholder, i-base natin sa net income. Example, no? Net income 100,000. Ang dividend para sa mga preferred stockholders is 20,000. So 100,000 minus 20,000, so 80,000. So your numerator here is 80,000. Alright? Then divided by the average ordinary shareholders' equity. Yung denominator naman, ito yung you get the total share ng lahat ng shareholder ng company. Yan ang iyong average ordinary shareholders' equity. Yung numerator kanina, 80,000 nakuha natin, di ba? And for example, the average ordinary shareholders' equity is 20,000. Yun, kuha mo yung return on shareholders' equity. Example, numerator is 80,000. Average ordinary shareholders' equity is 20,000. So 80,000 divided by 20,000. So what is the return? 80 divided by 20. So that is 4. Okay, so let's do the math, no? Compute natin yan. Okay, so 80,000 numerator divided by average shareholders equity divided by 20,000, example. So get 4. So 4 ang ratio dyan. The return on ordinary shareholders equity is 4. Okay, the next one is the market prospect, price earning ratio, and dividend yield. Ibig sabihin dito sa earnings mo, sa earnings ng company, magkano doon ang napupunta sa market. So example, no? The first one is price earning ratio. The formula is this one. Price earning ratio is equal to market price per ordinary share. No? So tinawag sa price earning ratio kasi we'll get first the price of the stock. Pag sinabing share, ito yung price ng isang stock ng company. Yung isang corporation, di ba? We know that in a corporation, the ownership is divided into shares of stocks. So, ang shares of stocks ng isang company, binibenta yun sa market. Yung mga those companies that are going public, they are selling their share sa market. So, meron siyang price. No? We call that the market price per ordinary share. And you divide that by the earnings per share. So, earnings per share is ito yung sa bawat stock ng company, magkano doon ang kinikita ng company. Yan. Or magkano na-earn ng mga stockholders sa bawat share na kanilang hawak-hawak. So this measure is often used by investor as a general guideline in gauging share values. Generally, the higher the price earnings ratio, the more opportunity a company has for growth. So ang market price per share, ordinary share, it is given naman sa mga report ng ng isang company. Example, bawat share ng stock is 5 pesos. Pag binenta mo yung share mo sa market is 5 pesos. In earnings per share naman, you simply divide the earnings of the company by the total shares outstanding. So, earnings per share kasi ito yung magkano ang kita ng company sa bawat share na naka-issue. The last one is the dividend yield. So dividend yield is the annual cash dividends per share divided by the market price per share. So dividend, as I mentioned earlier, dividend is ito yung kita ng company ay dinidistribute sa mga stockholder bawat taon. Yan tinatawag nating dividend. So when we say annual cash dividend per share, sa loob ng isang taon, annually, magkano ang dividend na binibigay sa bawat share na hawak-hawak ng mga shareholders. Example, a company will declare dividend. Okay, sa lahat ng mga stockholder mo yung taong 2023, ang company ko ay magbibigay ng 10 pesos na dividend sa bawat hawak-hawak mong share. Alright, so example, isang stockholder meron siyang 1,000 shares. Tapos nag-declare yung company ng 10 pesos na bawat shares. That is 1,000 share na hawak-hawak mo times 10 pesos. So magkano ang dividend mo? That is 10,000. Yan ang kinikita mo, no? Pero ang annual cash dividend per share, ito yung 10 pesos, no? Per share. Dividend per share is 10, but the total dividend distributed or you receive is 10,000. Yun ang numerator mo, no? Annual cash dividend is 10 pesos. Sa market price per share naman, ito yung, sabi ko kanina, ito yung presyo ng stock per share ng isang company na offered sa market. So example, 5 pesos. So pag kinuha natin dividend yield, 10 pesos divided by 5 pesos. That is 2. So dividend yield is 2. Okay, sa bawat price, 2 pesos ang annual dividend or doble, no? So dividend yield, this ratio identifies the return in terms of cash dividends. And so we already know, no, what is a cash dividend, what is market price per share ng isang company. So this one applies only to corporation kasi ang sole proprietorship and partnership ay wala silang stocks, no? So, corporation ang mayroong stocks. Okay, so if we're going to give example, no? So sampulan natin to. For example, so lagyan natin siya ng amount, no? Para maintindihan. So ito ay okay na, no? We have the amount. Okay, so ito kunwari, gawin natin sa total liabilities na palitan natin siya ng amount. Okay, so kunwari, total liabilities is 20,000. Yan. Yung kanina, no? 8 million. Okay. Total equity is 4 million. Yung sample din kanina, no? Total equity is 4 million. Yan. Okay, so kuha natin yung debt to equity ratio. So, you simply divide 8 million divided by 4 million. You will get a debt to equity ratio of 4. Okay? So, since ratio siya, so we can express ratio as 4:1. Sabihin, sa bawat utang ng company or sa bawat equity ng company or bawat share mo doon sa company, example, 1 peso ang share mo, ang utang ng company is 4. That is what we mean by 4:1. So, hindi sa masyadong maganda, di ba? So, ang maganda dyan, pag binaliktad natin yan, hindi masyadong magandang situation to, no? 4:1. Kasi mas malaki yung utang or debt ng company kesa equity. Okay? So, maganda ito. Pag pinalitan natin, example, ang debt or utang ng company is only 2 million. Example, no? Yan. Only 2 million. So, divide. So, 2 million divided by 4 million, that is only 5.5. Ratio, 0.5:1. So, ibig sabihin yan. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Sa bawat 50 centimos na utang mo, ang share ko sa company is 1. So, magandang situation to, no? Kasi mas malaki yung equity kesa debt. Sabihin yan. Okay? So, let's go to profitability. Profit margin, lagyan natin siya ng amount. Example, net income is, yun, no? 10,000. Tubo, 10,000. Net sales, magkano? Let's say, 100,000. Okay? So, the profit margin is, you simply divide 10 by 100. So, that is 10%. Sabihin, sa bawat benta, 10% goes to profit. Okay? Mas maganda kung yan ay 20,000. So, your profit margin is 20%. So, pag tumataas siyempre yung profit, tumataas yung profit margin. So, for every benta, 20% na pupunta sa net profit ng company. Yan ibig sabihin ng profit margin. Okay? And dito, example, return on total asset. So let's put an amount. So example, income, same net income, 10,000 kunwari. Okay? Divided by the average total asset of the company. So the average total asset, example, meron kang beginning noong January, ang beginning asset mo is let's say 2,000. I-add mo siya sa ending asset mo. Kasi sa company na, meron kang asset ng umpisa, then meron ka ring asset ng katapusan. Umpisa ng taon, tapos katapusan ng taon. So meron kang beginning, tapos meron kang ending. Noong January, 2,000 ang iyong beginning total asset. Right? Then sa katapusan ng taon, ang iyong total asset is naging 3,000. Alright? So just get the average. So 2,000 plus 3,000 divided by 2. Yan ibig sabihin ng average total asset. Okay, so 2,000 divided plus 3,000 is 5 divided by 2. Okay, so therefore your average total asset is 2,500. Yan, so meron ka ng okay, sa net profit is 10,000, average total asset is 2,500. So, pwede mo nang kunin yung return on total asset. So, simply divide. So, divide mo lang yan, no? 10,000 divided by 2,500. And you will get your return on total asset. Okay? So, magkano yan? So, that is 4. So, 4. So, ibig sabihin, 4 pesos. Let's say 4 pesos na. Sa bawat asset na ginagamit mo? Or sa bawat asset na ginagamit mo, 4 pesos doon ang napupunta sa net profit. Okay, so lagyan natin siya ng sagot. And okay, so next one, return on ordinary shareholders equity. So lagyan siya ng amount mo, net income example. So the same net income 10,000. 10,000. Yun, kunwari meron kang preferred dividend. So na-discuss ko na kanina, ano ibig sabihin ng dividend? Ito yung binibigay mong dividend or share ng mga owners or stockholder ng isang company. For example, ang preferred dividend given is 2,000. Lagay mo sa dyan, 2,000. So, that is your numerator, no? Then you get the average ordinary share, no? So, pag average ang hinahanap, you simply add the beginning and the end na shareholder, no? For example, in January, meron kang beginning shareholder, 1,000. That is the beginning, no? Okay? Then, yung katapusan ng taon, meron kang ending. So, i-add mo dyan yung ending. Example, ending katapusan ng taon. Ending ending equity is 3,000. So, you simply get the total of the two and divide. Okay? So, 1,000 plus 3,000 is 4. So, and 4 divided by 2. Kasi average means you get the average of the beginning and the ending. So, 1,000 plus 3,000, that is 4,000 divided by 2. So, ang sagot ay 2,000. Okay? Then, 10,000 minus 2,000, of course, that is 8,000. Yan. So, pwede mo siyang i-divide. So, 8,000 divided by 2,000. So, 4 na naman. Yan. So, the return on ordinary shareholders' equity is 4 pesos. Sabihin, sa bawat share na ginagamit mo, 4 pesos ang napupunta sa net income or net profit ng company. Okay, so, market prospect naman tayo. By pag sa market prospect, gaano ka marketable yung shares of stocks ng isang company? Example. So, market price per ordinary share. Sabi ko na kanina, no? Market price is the price of your stocks na binibenta sa market. So, example, 25 or 15. 15 pesos per share ang bentahan ng stock ng isang company. That is market price per share numerator. Divided by the earnings per share ng company. So, once again, earnings per share is sa bawat yung total earnings of the company divided by the total outstanding share, that is the earnings per share. Example, ang total earnings ng company is 200,000. Okay? And divide that by the total shares. No? Divide by total shares. Example, yung total shares ng company na naka-issue ay 30,000 shares. Yan. That is shares, no? So, mag-iba to, ha? Yung 200,000, yun ang kita ng company, earnings, no? Yung 30,000, that is ilang peraso ng shares ang naka-issue. So, simply divide 200,000 by 30,000 shares, no? So, divide natin. 200,000 divided by 30,000 shares. Ang sagot ay 6.66%. Okay? So, divide mo yan. If you do your math, sabi ng inyong calculator, that is 6.67%. 6.67. So, simply divide 15 by 6.67. Okay? So, ang sagot mo dyan is, okay, so 15 divided by 6.67. So, 2.25 rounded off. 2.25. Okay, that is the ratio. Sabihin, 2.25 is to 1. Ibig sabihin yan, sa bawat earnings per share, the market price is 2.25 is to 1. Yung nagsabihin, no? Magsabihin niya, no? Kumikita, no? Pag meron kang 1 peso na share, ang market price niyan is 2.25. Okay, so the next one is the dividend, cash dividend per share. So example, the annual cash dividend. No? So once again, annual cash dividend is ito yung binibigay per year sa mga lahat ng stockholder ng company. O sabi ng company, ngayong taon magdi-declare kami ng ng 8 pesos per share na hawak-hawak mo. Okay? You divide that by the market price per share. So kanina sa previous slide, no? We determined that the price per share kunwari is 15, di ba? 15 kanina. So divided by 15. Yan. So 8 divided by 15. So let's do the math. Okay, so 8 divided by 15, 0.53. Okay, so lagyan natin dito is equal to 0.53. Yan. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? 0.53 is to 1. This ratio identifies the return in terms of cash dividend on the current market price per share of the company's ordinary share. Sa bawat price ng isang stock, 0.53 ang dividend doon, or 0.53 pesos. So that is a ratio. So 0.53 is to 1. This is also 2.25 is to 1. That is 4. Para maliwanag, nagawin natin so 4 is to 1. Para meron tayong basis. That is 4 is to 1. Yan. Ibig sabihin ng how to get the profit margin. So today we have discussed yung market prospect, the profit margin or profitability, and we also discussed the solvency of the company. So I hope that you can use this one sa inyong mga businesses. And once again, thank you for attending this one. This has been Dr. Cortez, and see you again sa ating mga future lessons.